Time now to turn our attention to the latest business news and a renewed threat from President Donald Trump to raise tariffs on China if they don't sign a deal to end their trade war. To tell us more about that, we're joined on set by business editor Stephen Carroll. Stephen.
Eve, we're used to the ups and downs in these trade talks now between the United States and China, but this is a threat of significant escalation from President Donald Trump. Now, he was speaking to the New York Economic Club. He said that negotiators were close to a phase one deal to end the trade war, but gave no further agreement or no further details on what that agreement would contain. The president said the US would only accept a deal if it was good for the country and its workers.
If we don't make a deal, we're going to substantially raise those tariffs. They're going to be raised very substantially. And that's going to be true for other countries that mistreat us too, because we've been mistreated by so many countries. It's hard to believe. There are a few that haven't mistreated us.
Well, of course, the markets takes all movements on this story very seriously. But in the context of the rhetoric coming from both sides, this is the picture at the open in Europe today. London, Paris and Frankfurt all trading in the red. Car makers seeing more falls today. That's a different trade issue. We're still waiting to hear from the United States that it's going to announce delaying tariffs on European cars. That's expected later on today. Over in Asia, shares were in the red there too, also on those trade lines coming out of New York. But we are also seeing a significant fall on the Hang Seng in Hong Kong as investors there focus on the ongoing violence in the issue in the city. Property companies are the biggest fallers there on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Well, now, Chile's peso has slumped to a record low against the dollar as anti-government protests there continue. It fell by nearly 5% on Tuesday, while the stock market plunged by more than 3%. Protests have engulfed the country for 3 weeks, while a national strike has brought transport to a halt. Economists have warned that the plunge in the peso is likely to push up inflation, which had risen by 2.5% in October. Tesla has chosen the Berlin area for its first gigafactory in Europe. CEO Elon Musk made the announcement at an industry event in Germany. He said the company was planning for the new facility near the city's new airport and that it would include a design centre. Musk said that Tesla had chosen Berlin because of the standard of German engineering and because he thinks the capital has some of the best art in the world. Tesla currently has two so-called gigafactories, one in Nevada and the other near Shanghai. Next, to an idea to encourage us to buy more second-hand products. Two French entrepreneurs are calling on the government to introduce a tax credit for those who buy used goods. The idea is unlikely to win official approval, though, as Simon Harding now reports.
A proposition to cut taxes by buying second-hand goods. Suggested by two leading entrepreneurs in France, the concept is simple. Buy second-hand or get something repaired in exchange for a 15% tax credit within a €3,000 yearly cap. For example, if a used table was bought for €50, it would give the buyer €7.50 tax credit, an idea which is appealing to some customers.
It's going to encourage people to spend in a different way. It's interesting economically, and it's also good for the planet and the environment.
Despite popular enthusiasm, the French government says this proposal is unlikely to see the light of day. They fear that it could create another tax exemption at a time when authorities are trying to eliminate them. But the sponsors of this idea argue it would slow down the mass production of reusable products and in many ways stop overconsumption. The architect of the proposal, the CEO of France's biggest consumer-to-consumer online platform, says the reform would also benefit other sectors.
Money would be re-injected into the economy. If people save money, they will spend it elsewhere, on other products and services. We believe that's positive.
The current market trends do point towards a potential growing opportunity. Over €7 billion was spent on second-hand goods in France this year, and the market keeps on expanding. In 2005, only 17% of French people purchased used goods, whereas that figure has now increased to almost two-thirds of the population. Furniture, clothes and smartphones are the most popular products currently being resold.
Finally for me, Nike is giving up on Amazon. It's decided to no longer sell its products on the online retailer's site, and that's a big turnaround for the sportswear brand. Nike had done a deal with Amazon back in 2017 in exchange for stricter policing of counterfeit goods on the platform. It had been part of a wider push by Amazon to court fashion brands onto its site. But the criticism about counterfeit products still being levelled at Amazon, and now Nike says it's going to focus back on its own direct sales business, which already makes up 30% of its annual sales. Eve.
Stephen, thanks a lot for that business update.